So what if everything you believed about self-control was just wrong? What if I told you that breaking your worst habits has almost nothing to do with willpower? We're about to dive into a shocking discovery that completely flips our understanding of self-discipline on its head. You know the drill. We've all been told the same thing forever. To break a bad habit, you've just got to be stronger. You need more grit, more discipline. But what if the people who seem to have incredible self-control aren't actually fighting these epic battles with temptation all day? What if they're not stronger, but just smarter? It all starts with a number that honestly just baffled scientists and basically turned the entire field of addiction science upside down. And that number is 90%. That's right. In 1971, researchers found that when American soldiers who were addicted to heroin came home from Vietnam, 9 out of 10 of them kicked the habit. Just like that. Almost overnight. We're talking no rehab, no agonizing withdrawal battles. They just stopped. This incredible finding is known as the Vietnam paradox. I mean, how could an addiction that was supposed to be permanent just disappear for so many people so easily? The answer to that question forces us to rethink everything we thought we knew about habits. So this research, led by a woman named Lee Robbins, was absolutely stunning. See, during the war, over 35% of service members had tried heroin and almost 20% got addicted. Back then, everyone believed heroin addiction was a life sentence. But the study showed that when these soldiers came home, only 5% got re-addicted within a year. It was completely unheard of. So what gives, right? Did all of these soldiers just suddenly develop superhuman willpower on the plane ride home? Did they all collectively decide to become more disciplined? The data pointed to something else entirely, something much, much bigger. It turns out the answer wasn't some kind of change inside the soldiers. It was a change in their environment. Think about it. In Vietnam, they were surrounded by all the cues for addiction, the incredible stress of war, easy access to the drug, and of course, friends who were also using. But back home, all those cues were gone. The environment was totally different, and without the triggers, the habit just kind of dissolved. And this brings us right to the core idea here. What we think of as self-control is mostly a myth. The real secret isn't about having more willpower. It's about creating a better environment for yourself. This changes how we should even look at the problem. We usually think of self-control as this active fight, right? We're resisting, we're pushing back, just white-knuckling our way through a craving. But the scientific reality is that people with great self-control, well, they win the battle by making sure they never have to fight it to begin with. They just design their environment to avoid it. This quote just nails it. The people we look at and think, wow, they're so disciplined, they aren't necessarily stronger than us. They're just smarter about how they set up their lives. They're basically architects of their own behavior. At the end of the day, they just spend less time in situations that are tempting. It's not about having more willpower, it's about needing to use it less often. Okay, but why? Why is our environment so incredibly powerful? Well, it all comes down to how our brains are wired. So let's talk about why our environment has such a grip on us. It's all because of these hidden cues that basically put our brains on autopilot, and a lot of the time, we don't even realize it's happening. Scientists have a name for this: cue-induced wanting. It's a totally automatic process. You see something, or you hear something, or you feel something, an external trigger or a cue, and your brain instantly sparks a craving. And this happens in a fraction of a second, way before your conscious mind can even try to put up a fight. It's a really deep neurological loop. There's this perfect story that illustrates this. It's about a therapist who had quit smoking years and years ago. I mean, she hadn't touched a cigarette in forever and was sure that habit was long gone. But then, one day, she goes horseback riding. And this wasn't just some random activity for her. It was something she used to do all the time with a close friend, and every time they rode, they would smoke together. The whole context, the horse, the trail, it was a powerful cue that had just been lying dormant for years. And boom. Just like that, after all those years of not smoking, the craving for a cigarette hit her like a ton of bricks. Her brain reacted to that old cue, being on a horse, and it fired up those old neural pathways. The habit wasn't actually gone, it was just asleep. And that's really the key takeaway here. You can't really unlearn a habit. Those mental grooves are basically carved into your brain. And that's why just trying to resist a craving is usually a losing battle. A much smarter strategy is to cut the problem off at the source. So that brings us to the most important part, the game plan. If you can't erase a habit, what do? Simple. You become an architect of your environment. You make your bad habits invisible. The author James Clear calls this powerful strategy the inversion of the first law of behavior change. See, the law for building a good habit is to make it obvious. So if you want to break a bad one, you just flip it on its head. Make it invisible. You reduce your exposure to the things that trigger you in the first place. And this isn't just some abstract idea, it's super practical. For example, if you can't stop checking your phone when you need to focus, make the cue invisible. Leave your phone in another room. Watching way too much TV? Add a tiny bit of friction. Unplug it and hide the remote after you use it. The more you can remove that first trigger from your environment, the less willpower you'll ever need. So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Self-control is less about who you are and way more about where you are. The real secret is to stop trying to fight temptation head-on and just start redesigning your world so you don't have to. And that leaves me with one final question for you to think about. Just look around you right now. Your room, your desk, your phone. What is one single cue, just one, that triggers a habit you want to change? What is one thing you can make invisible right now, today?